Alright, hi there, this is Stephen with Karma Astrology. Today is Monday, June 14th, 2021. It's 9:50 a.m. here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. That is Denver time zone, Mountain time zone in the United States. And you can see over here, well, just as a little intro, this whole map, or this whole boxes, all these boxes around me, if you're new to this channel, are each of the signs in the sky. And so you can see up above me here, you can see that's the first sign, Aries, A-R-I, and it goes around like this. There's Taurus, and then Gemini in the corner, and then Cancer, and then you can see Leo, Virgo in the other corner, Libra, Scorpio, and the rest you can figure out for yourself by reading those three little letters around the edges of the screen. Otherwise, you can see the moon is over here, still with Mars. M-O is the moon in turquoise, and just above that is Mars and below that is the ascendant, or the eastern horizon here, right over here behind me. And that ascendant shows, where, if you're looking directly east, what stars are kind of coming up over the horizon. And, that kind of ascending sign as it comes up into the sky. And so the moon and Mars right now are on the ascendant, as Cancer is the ascending sign right now. As you can see, that's what that kind of means right now. So, and then you can see down here, I made this little text so that you can see how long this forecast is active until. Basically, I do these daily moon forecasts to tell you about what the moon's like in the sign, and then in the Nakshatra, or the Indian constellation, which is like a sub-constellation of 13 degrees and 20 minutes. And there's 2 and about a fourth in each of the different signs. So, moon is in Cancer right now, and when the moon is in Cancer, the moon shows basically our feelings, our emotions, our sense of connection, our ability to, be selfless and be impressionable and allow others to kind of merge with us, or other things to merge with us. That sense of connection in a way, like I was saying. And when the moon's in Cancer, Cancer is the sign of the moon, so it kind of doubles down on those themes. It shows that we're more receptive, that we're more in touch with our feelings, that we're just more attuned to our intuition in a lot of ways, because the moon, this receptive, reflective kind of part of us, if we're able to find stillness and calmness in our thoughts, find a sense of peace within, then we're able to kind of intuit and turn on our inner faculties in order to kind of get to other states of consciousness, or to realize certain things in our lives. So it's a great day when the moon is in Cancer to just be still and meditate and get in touch with your intuition and see what it's asking you to do on a day like today. And then we can see that the moon is in Ashlesha Nakshatra, as I have written down here. Moon in Ashlesha Nakshatra until June 15th. That is tomorrow. If you're in the United States, it's already today. If you're in a different part of the world, that's going to be June 16th for you. But yeah, you can basically transpose, or what's that word? You can change that time zone, adjust the time zone for wherever you are in the world. Most of us know where the east coast of the United States, or how to transpose it from that, since there's a lot of American-centric people, mainly in this chat. So, moon going into Ashlesha, or moon in Ashlesha today, the next 24 hours. Ashlesha is this really interesting ending part of Cancer. It's the part of Cancer, the part of the sign of the mother, and the sign of the heart and the feelings that gets very attached. And Ashlesha is known as the clinging star for that reason. Shlish, or one of the root words in Ashlesha. Shlish means to adhere, to attack, or to adjoin, to embrace, or to unite. I'm not sure where the attack comes in, but the rest of those sound very intertwining, and that's why it's called the entwiner, or the embracer. We can think of Ashlesha as, I like to talk about each of these constellations as, archetypal energy, or the entities that are associated with the energy of the nakshatra, as that's, or this constellation as they were kind of described in ancient times. And the kind of archetypal energy are these deities called the Nagas. Now the Nagas are serpent deities, or serpent gods, you could say, or just humanoid serpents kind of beings. They might just be hooded cobra, a serpent and a snake, just to give you an idea of the difference. A serpent has a hood, so the serpents are like the cobras and whatever other species of snake that has the hood that comes out on the side of either side of their head, as opposed to just a standard snake. Just FYI. And in ancient Hindu traditions and texts, they always depict this this kind of bed of serpents that the preserver of the universe, this deity called Vishnu, if you know anything about Vishnu and the Trimurti, or the three main deities of modern Hinduism, Vishnu is the preserver deity, and so it has to do with he's basically known to lounge on a chaise lounge, or on a kind of a bench of snakes that kind of carry him across the cosmic oceans, or the clouds, the sky. And he, in that kind of lounging position, he's listening to everything in the entire universe. So it's this receptive, listening, kind of perceptive quality. And the bed of serpents is to symbolize kind of the the animalistic traits and tendencies and qualities, that sense of kind of intelligence, and anything that's very pragmatic and practical and real that we need in order to support our life, support our kind of spiritual endeavors. We need to be rooted in reality, aka we need to be making sense of the world around us. And snake energy is definitely known for being hyper-logical, very practical, very real, and super intelligent and assertive, obviously. Obviously, we have these negative connotations with serpents because, we fear their fangs and their venom and all that. But in essence, they're kind of, the first land animals, at least on this planet. And they kind of have that primordial kind of that primal instinctual energy that we consider part of our complex, or the lower part of the brain, the back lower part. I think that's the medulla. Maybe it's not, I forget. Thanks to the cerebellum. But you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. Anyways, so this type of carnal, very animalistic survival instincts come out in this part of the zodiac where the moon is today. So we might be feeling a little more clingy, we might be feeling a little more attached, and a little more worried about losing the things that we need in our lives, or that we love and that we've grown attached to. So it's definitely a good time to observe those tendencies of protection, and maybe not get too carried away with it, as Mars is actually right next to the moon as well, creating this sort of doubling down effect on the whole protection and defense and attacking nature in us on a day like today. So today is more of this, we feel like if our emotions get betrayed, or if someone kind of takes advantage of us, we can really fight back. We can, kind of use our own venom or our own fangs to inflict that kind of poison on them, to make them realize that they shouldn't be messing with us too much. This is kind of like a day where we might need to watch how harsh our speech is and how aggressive we are, and maybe just being cognizant of it and being aware of it, we can kind of tone it down so that we're not breaking up our relationships or hurting our friendships and that kind of stuff. Abhishek, I'm sorry that you're feeling empty today, man. Check out this forecast. Keep listening. If you have any questions, let me know about the day or anything. I'm more than happy to talk to you about, different ways, different things we can do on a day like today to feel more full, to feel more grateful. And that is the first thing I would recommend, is increase that gratitude practice. Think about all the gifts in your life. And the moon is in Ashlesha, where we're kind of focusing on what entwines us into connection with others. And that could be anything from plants to animals to people to land to homes to whatever. So think about what you're grateful for. Think about what has served your life and what has helped you a lot along the way, and focus on that gratitude, but without that sense of kind of attachment that we need something in our lives, because obviously we're all going to, return to the dirt, and our spirits will go on and empty-handed from there on, except for with our tendencies, right? Our vasanas continue with us and our karma. But in terms of this physical form and the people in our lives that we love, we have to understand that we can't get too attached, even though we need to live completely and wholly and joyfully with them in the time that we have together. So don't diminish your relationships because you know that eventually they're all going to end, but don't get too attached that you can't, that you get emotionally dependent upon other people. So sometimes when we lose people or when things are difficult in our lives, we can feel more empty, and we need to focus on what we have and what we have always had, our spirit, that connection to all. I was born, it's Abhishek Singh says, I was born in Ashlesha Nakshatra, and people say I'm very unfortunate for my family, friends, and in-laws. That's why I'm marriage is suffering. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. It's a lot more complicated than just having your moon in Ashlesha or Chandra in Ashlesha. There's definitely a lot to the subtle nuances of all that, our Navamsha charts and all of our different astrological elements, and where Venus is in your chart, and it could be where Jupiter and the Sun and all sorts of stuff is going on, and what's in your 7th house and whatnot. If you're interested, I do offer personalized readings in my profile if you want to check out my homepage of Karma Astrology on YouTube. And you can see there's a little link, or you can check out the description and book a reading or a session with me, and we can talk about this stuff personally. Otherwise, Ashlesha does have a tendency to make us very clingy. It makes us, it can push people away, but it can also draw them in. It kind of adds to our sense of cunning. So, if there's anything that's a difficult task that you need to do on a day like today, something that is you've been putting off, that involves a lot of intense kind of single-pointed focus, or a lot of intense, harsh action in order to kind of get something done. You need to attack some sort of home repair thing, or some sort of thing inside yourself. Like maybe if we are feeling depressed, if we are feeling a little too down on ourselves, it's a good day to attack that weakness. Ultimately, that kind of attacking nature within us, that kind of snake-like energy or serpentine energy within us, is best used when we're able to channel it spiritually, and when there's a few ways we can do that. And one is to really think about the things, our tendencies and our habits of thinking. If we get down on ourselves too much or have low self-esteem, we need to attack that sense of low self-esteem to get rid of those habitual thought patterns, and to incorporate more positive and optimistic and hopeful and gratitude-oriented, joyous thought patterns into our lives. And that's something you can really work on a day like today. It makes us more independent and clever and versatile, so you can use your intelligence, you can use that sense of awareness to focus on which problems you'd like to attack in your life on a day like today. It can help us to get deeper into our spiritual and philosophical practices. We need to be careful of this desire to be overly seductive and to be superficial in terms of getting people to kind of wrapping people around our thumb or our finger, whatever the term is. We don't want to, take advantage of anyone or use anybody. That's how we get into trouble ourselves. But there is that tendency on a day like today. So if you have a tendency to be controlling or manipulative, you definitely want to turn that in on yourself, rather than focusing on manipulating other people outside of yourself to do what you want them to do. It's a good way to kind of turn around that energy in general. Oh, great. I'm very happy that this was helpful for you. Yeah, just keep on listening. I like to do these every day, and talk about all the different nakshatras and as the moon goes around the zodiac, and give everyone advice, so it's more easy to live our day-to-day life. And in terms of more of the shadow qualities, well, I guess I'll continue on the strengths. That can make us very passionate on a day like today, so you can change your mood by getting really involved in something that you love, in something that you care about deeply, because this moon energy and Cancer in general is about care. It's about like emotional, deep connection to what you love and care about. So we can gain a lot of spiritual progress on a day like today. Things like Kundalini Yoga. Anything that deals with the Kundalini energy, that coiled serpent energy in the base of our spine and where our coccyx is, our tailbone, and how we can, there's different breathing exercises where we can just focus on lifting, like Kriya Yoga Initiation, if you've heard of it, by Babaji. You can lift the energy up the central channel, the Sushumna, into the Ajna chakra, or your third eye, on the inhale, and then exhale, kind of imagine the energy going down your back. And that's a great way to kind of increase your energy, enhance your body battery, your natural energy, and to make some spiritual progress, which I always love to talk about. So in terms of some of the weaknesses, it can lead to more nervousness or depression, or or kind of, what we've been talking about, self-esteem issues. And it's good to be aware of that there's a natural tendency towards that, but we don't need to do that. The fact that we know that those exist, the fact that we know that it's a difficult day to stay positive, means that we can work even harder to stay positive, that we can get the jump on the gun. We can do it before we even start to feel weird, and that'll kind of protect us from any sort of negative or down feelings that we might have. It's a good day to kind of break out of a shell too. So if you're in a habitual thought pattern and you're having a hard time because you're spiraling in a vasana, in a habitual tendency, or samskara, then what we can do is we can really, I think it's called Pratipaksha Bhavana, which is to do the exact opposite of that tendency. So if we're saying, oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I'm depressed, then we're going to make ourselves sad and depressed. But if we notice that we're sad and depressed, and we recognize that we are, we say, okay, we say it once, we recognize it, we're honest with ourselves. But then what we can do is say, we can trick our subconscious into being the opposite. So I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm happy, I'm joyful, until we actually become happy and joyful, until our subconscious is trying to produce these happy, joyful endorphins and serotonin and all these wonderful feelings inside of us that gets our energy going, that makes us feel good and breaks us out of those kind of routines. And today is a fantastic day. And Ashlesha energy, if you have that within you, is a fantastic energy to break through those habits. And then let me just say, I want to show you one last thing. I like to show where it is in the sky, so you can find it for yourself and show your family and friends and whoever you're around, just what it looks like in the sky. So if you're looking at the sky around sunset, you can see that wherever you are on the earth around sunset, you can see that I guess sun is setting right here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so it's easier to see for everyone. Let me just make sure that's on the screen correctly. Okay, that's good. So the sun, as it's coming down, the sun you can see is in Taurus. It's pretty much almost in Gemini. It's right on the cusp of these two signs on that orange trajectory. And there's Orion down below that. The clear 3 stars in Orion's belt are visible. And then as that sets, they're not visible right now because the sun's so close, we'll be able to see Gemini and the evening star Venus in Gemini, Shukra. And that is this just beautiful, bright, gorgeous planet on the horizon. And then we have Castor and Pollux, which you'll be able to see, and the moon is in Cancer. Cancer is a very difficult constellation to see, but you can check it out here. And then Ashlesha is actually Hydra. So this head of the snake, if you see, sorry, I can't point to it because, here, let's see, maybe if I go a little bit this direction, you can see. Yeah, there's Ashlesha. There we go. Perfect. So Ashlesha is perpendicular to that orange line you can see, and Hydra is that kind of serpentine snake that they saw in the sky and related with this energy. And then we'll be heading into Leo tomorrow. So the moon is still this beautiful crescent. You'll be able to see it at sunset. Just after sunsets, you'll see Venus, then Castor and Pollux, and then the moon, and you'll sound really freaking cool to your family and friends being able to show this to them. Alright, I think that's going to do it for today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the comment section if you have any questions, comments, concerns about this, questions for me. And then subscribe if you want to see these on a daily basis, because I hope that you can get some value out of this, just like I do every day. I like to follow these things and say, oh, I'm not going crazy. It is kind of what's happening around me, and I can also influence my own moods, influence my own behavior, be the controller of my own fate, just like you can do. And we can all kind of be winning in this game of life and enjoy it together. So with that, peace and love. See you next time. Take care.